And we're back with another UFC predictions video coming off a very successful night with Cannonier versus Rodriguez. And we're getting straight into UFC Cejudo versus Song. Starting off with Modestas Bukauskas set the face off against Raffael Cerqueira. And I'm going with Modestas Bukauskas. He is the more proven fighter. What a lot higher level opposition. Cerqueira, I'm not going to judge him based off of losing against Ibo Aslan. Ibo Aslan is proven to be UFC level. He has a lot of power in those hands, and if you're getting clipped with those shots, you're going to get put out. Cerqueira, he hasn't really proven much to me outside of the UFC. Hasn't really been dragged into deeper waters, and I think that's where Bukauskas can shine. I think Bukauskas gets it done. He can finish it inside the distance, and even if the fight gets dragged on to the later stages, he has more experience in that realm as well. Moving on to Nursulton Ruziboev versus McConico, and I gotta go with Ruziboev on this one. McConico, he hasn't really proven much to me as well on the regional scene, tends to grapple a lot, and Ruziboev has a lot of power in those hands. He likes to finish fights. Most of his fights end inside the distance, but didn't really look too good in his fight at 170. Kind of drained, so moving back up a weight class into 185, you shall see him at his best. So yeah, I gotta go with Ruziboev on this one. Next up, we got a fight at 175 pounds between Austin Vanderford and Nikolay Veretennikov. I'm siding with Austin Vanderford on this one because of his wrestling. Veretennikov, yes, his takedown defense held up against Danny Barlow. Danny Barlow ain't no wrestler. Look at the fight against Michael Morales. He got taken down, I believe, 4 out of 8 times, and he got controlled on the ground. I think if Vanderford implements a smart game plan and stays away from the striking, implements a wrestle-heavy kind of game plan, it's money in the bank for him, and he gets the job done. If he gets clipped, he is susceptible to being the guy who wants to slang and bang and get knocked out, but his wrestling is much higher than a guy like Danny Barlow, and his wrestling may not be on the same level as Michael Morales, but it should be good enough to get the fight down to the ground. The dude who has the honor of practicing his wrestling on Paige Van Zandt. You are a winner in life, baby, and I think you're gonna get the job done. Next up, we got Ricky Simone set the face off against Javid Basharat. Now, people hate on Javid Basharat because of his style, and I don't blame them. Ricky Simone, he is durable, but to me, he is on his way out of the UFC. The pick is going to be Javid Basharat to win. I do believe this fight goes to decision, and that's where the bet's going to be. Javid Basharat by decision. Ricky Simone, him being as durable as he has been in the UFC, getting KO'd or subbed from a guy like Basharat is going to be a complete disappointment, and I don't see that happening. On to the middleweights, we have Klein set the face off against Mansur Abdul-Malik, and his Contender Series fight, phenomenal performance, taking it down and pounding the hell out of you. And that seems to be Klein's weakness as well, being taken down and dominated. This should be a very easy win for Mansur. On to the next one, where we have Andre Fili set the face off against Melk Costa. May have butchered the name, and I'm sorry about that, but I do think Andre Fili gets the job done here. I think he's a more skilled fighter. On to the next one. Up we got Cutelaba set the face off against Ibo Aslan. And I'm placing a bet on Ibo Aslan to win. I think he has so much power in those hands. And Iwan gets clipped often. He gets put out often. He's not going to be able to survive against the power of Ibo Aslan. Next up, we got Alonzo Menifield set the face off against Julius Walker. I know nothing of Julius Walker, and I know Alonzo Menifield hits hard. I think Alonzo Menifield gets the job done once he implements a smart game plan. I don't expect him to do what he did against Carlos Ulberg and rush in to get KO'd, so I think Alonzo Menifield should get the job done here. Next up, we got Gene Silva set to face off against the Armenian dude that I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. Baghdasaryan? May have butchered that. I do think Gene Silva gets the job done. I think he's one of the best that the fighting nerds has to offer. It's gonna be a stand-up fight. I don't think he's gonna take the fight down to the ground, but he has so much power in those hands. Managing to put a guy like Drew Dober out standing up. I mean, yeah, it was due to a cut, but he was piecing Drew Dober apart, and I definitely see him being able to get the job done here. Next up, we got Rob Font set to face off against Gene Matsumoto, and I think Matsumoto should get the job done here, placing a bet on that as well. You see, the problem with facing a guy like Font is if you're reliant heavily on it being a stand-up affair, Font has got a chance because of that power that he packs in those punches. Matsumoto, yes, he's a very good striker, but he has really nice grappling. And if the striking is failing him, he can rely on that grappling. He can take the fight down. Font is not this amazing wrestler. He's not this amazing guy in terms of takedown defense. So if he gets taken down, he can be controlled on the ground by Matsumoto, and Matsumoto can even find his way to a sub. I think Matsumoto should be able to mix it up and confuse a guy like Font and get the job done here. Next up, we got Brendan Allen set to face off against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez for the second time. I don't believe that Brendan Allen can avenge his loss. I think Fluffy Hernandez manages to get it done. He may get pieced up in the first round, but does enough to wear Brendan Allen down, grind on that cardio, and win the last 2 rounds. Even if it goes to decision, I think Anthony Hernandez should get the nod, but it's very likely that he could get a late stoppage. His fighting style is spectacular to watch, and if you can't get him out early, you're gonna be in some trouble. Give me Anthony Fluffy Hernandez to win, but no bet on the fight. On to the main event where we have Henry Cejudo set to face off against Song Yadong, and it's going to be a hard one to watch. I do think Song Yadong wins. I think he dominates this one. I think he outlands Henry Cejudo in terms of significant strikes. The bet is going to be Song Yadong to win and land more significant strikes. I think he hurts Henry Cejudo often, could even get the fight finished. But the win is more than enough for me. More significant strikes is good enough value. So give me Song Yadong to win, land more significant strikes. And that's all I got for you today in terms of UFC Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below. Let me know what you think about the picks and the plays. Subscribe. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter. Support the channel on the Patreon. And I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, game time.